नित्यानन्देश्वरसमारम्भां नित्यानन्देश्वरिमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. I welcome all of you with my love and respects. I welcome all the devotees, disciples, Samajis, Satsangis, Sri Mahans, Mahans, Tanedars, Kotaris, visitors, viewers sitting with us all over the world through Nithyananda TV, Sadhana TV, Ara TV, and two-way video conferencing, having Nayana cities sitting with us in two-way video conferencing, having Nayana Kuala Lumpur Adinam, San Jose Adinam, Seattle Adinam, New York Adinam, Toronto Adinam, Guadalupe Adinam, Oklahoma Adinam, St. Louis Adinam, Melbourne Adinam, Wilmington, North Carolina, Ohio Adinam, Suva, Fiji, Los Angeles Adinam, Varanasi Adinam, Warrington, Houston Adinam, Calgary Amarnath, Singapore Adinam, Dubai Adinam, Doncaster UK, London, Surrey Canada, Bengaluru North, Hosur Adinam, Hyderabad Adinam, Trinidad Tobago, Hong Kong Sirgari, China, Guptakashi, Hyderabad, and some more cities. I welcome all of you with my love and respects. Today, first thing, we are launching a program of 10,008 minutes for peace. Please understand, people whose third eye is awakened, if they sit and do a sankalpa, create a will, it will simply become reality. So, not only I am going to create yogis whose third eyes are awakened, I am going to put them to use that energy in the direction of creating a world peace. We are not doing this for Nobel Prize. We are very clear. We are really, really interested in the world peace. We don't want to talk about it. We want to work for it. We are not interested in any award, reward, peace, prize. No. But we will do it. We will make it happen. We are starting our first event, 1008 minutes for peace for Kenya. We are going to do this first step of peace meditation for Kenya. Tomorrow we are starting. Tomorrow, the Vedic calendar, New Year, April 14th. And to tell you honestly, tomorrow is actual day we started our Sangha. April 14th was the day. April 14th, 2001. April 14, 2001 was the date. First time I decided to settle down in Erode and started ashram, Sangha. Started the Sangha. So, on the very same day, auspicious day, tomorrow we will be doing 1008 minutes for peace for Kenya. It starts from tomorrow, but we will be continuously doing till we make world peace as reality. World peace as reality. Vedic tradition beautifully describes yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyevanupashyati sarvabhuteshu chatmanam tatona vijugupsati. The inner peace leads to world peace. So, we will bring peace to the whole world. It is simple 4 steps. Light at least 108 or 54 Moksha Deepam, lamps for liberation. Most probably it should be mud, or it can be silver, gold. Now recently we found out from Agama, it can even be brass or copper. Even the brass lamps are accepted. Earlier we did not see the reference. Very recently we discovered it in the Kamikagama. Mahadeva accepts brass also as one of the sacred metal. Can be used for sacred purposes. Brass, bronze, copper, mud, silver or gold. Any one of these 6, you can have the lamps and you can light the lamps for Moksha Deepam, lamps for liberation, and 7 minutes sacred Brahmi Kumbhakam or Brahmi Dhyana, means intensely chanting the Mahamantra. That is called Brahmari Pranayama in the tradition, yogic tradition, to open the heart center. After the Brahmari Pranayama, Swasti Mantra, chant the mantra for the world peace and sit completion with yourself. I tell you, very soon, we will have at least 10,000 yogis whose third eye is awakened, who can read without the usage of eyes and light, without using the eyes and light. That is what is meant by blindfold reading. Blindfold reading is too cheap word, too small word. So, we will have at least 10,000 yogis sitting and radiating peace to the whole universe. We will generate more and more enlightened beings, Jivan Muktas, doing this to themselves and to the world. So, tomorrow we are starting this program. First, we are going to concentrate our energies to bring peace in Kenya. Next, Kashmir. Next will be Kashmir. We need lot of peace in India. Lot of peace in India. We will work one by one, bring peace to the whole world. We will do it. It's not for media gimmicks or any Nobel Prize or any other awards, rewards, pieces. Actually, I was thinking that I am going to decide and declare I will not accept any rewards, awards, anything. Many offers have come, many requests have come. No, nothing. Straight, let's do the work. We don't have time to waste in award, reward, ceremonies, in all this. Let's straight deliver what we have to deliver to the world. We are yogis. We are Shiva Ganas, embodiment of Shiva. Imagine Shiva stretching his neck out for any award, reward. Doesn't match. Rejected. Understand, we are Shiva Ganas. We will make it happen. We will make it happen. And Mahadeva is with us, within us, with us and within us. We will do this for world peace and constantly bring the peace really. Really let us bring the peace. With this, I'll enter into the satsang. I'll continue on the 8th verse of the Ishavasya Upanishad. Saparyaka chukramagayavam avranam asnaviram sudamapabaviddam kavirmanishi paribuhu swayambhur yadatatya yathorthan vyatataschatvadibhyah samabhyah. Pure consciousness is all-pervasive. Today I just wanted to give a literal meaning, an implicated meaning of this verse. Pure consciousness is all-pervasive, like space beyond the coming and going, absolute radiant and self-effulgent. Absolute radiant and self-effulgent, unembodied, boundaryless, whole. Understand? Consciousness is not embodied. Please listen. Consciousness is not inside your body or outside your body. It is everything. Whatever you understand. See, if consciousness is inside your body and your body and mind is there, then you can say embodied. But here, Upanishads are very clearly declaring everything is consciousness. Then how can you say you are embodied conscious? No. Embodied means something other than conscious should exist. But here it is not. It is not. Unembodied, boundaryless, whole. It is just boundaryless. How will you imagine? Try your best. Boundaryless. Like space. Boundaryless whole. Woundless, muscleless. Means if there is a muscle, there is a possibility for wound. It is not restricted to your body. It's beyond any possibility of wounds, muscles. Having no incompletion with the body means you being consciousness does not mean you will destroy the body. No. No incompletions with the body. Beyond the gross body, consciousness is the ever pure space, devoid of the dirt of ignorance, beyond the causal body, and is untouched by the delusion of incompletion. Consciousness is the all-knowing seer of all, past, present, future. Kavihi, the Lord of all minds, Manishi. Consciousness transcends all beings. I think each line I have to spend at least 1 year to explain. Consciousness transcends all beings. Please understand, anything is can become not. Anything is can become not. Here, no is and not. Consciousness is ISNESS, which is beyond is and not. It is like a Nithya is beyond Nithya Anithya. Beyond Nithya Anithya is Nithya. So beyond is and not is isness. The isness is consciousness. Consciousness is self-existent by itself. Swayambhu. Swayambhu. Kavi Manishi Paribhu Swayambhu. With its independent will and intelligence. Understand? It is not some dead light kind of a thing. No. It has independent will and intelligence, having no cause for its happening, means it is not caused by something. It's pure consciousness. From time eternal, has enriched the ages and each being by ordaining desirable responsibilities unto them as per their nature and space and their actions and results thereof. Understand? It is consciousness which is center of the karma chakra. It is consciousness that which is center of everything. of that which is everything. I'll read out the verse once more. Saparyakat chukramagaya avranam asnaviram sudamabhava viddam kavir manishi paribuhu swayambur yadatatya thorthan vyadataschashwadipya samabhyaha. I can say in this verse, the Upanishadic Rishi is just exploding. He just wants to finish it off. Whatever he wants to say about consciousness, it is like he feels, he can't describe, he can't spell it out. Actually, whenever you feel you can't spell it out, you can't describe, you will go on be repeating the same line 10 times. Oh, you know, that is that is that is that. When you feel words are not enough, you will be repeating the words which has the same meaning again and again. You will be repeating the same word again and again. Paribu, Swayambhu, all these words may be different words, but in depth if you see the same meaning. But Upanishadic Rishis are repeating. One thing, be rest assured. Upanishads are very clearly declaring, you are untouched by delusion and incompletion. How much ever you imagine, visualize and pull the incompletion over you like a blanket in the early morning 4:30. How you pull your blanket early morning 4:30. Same way only you try your best to keep the incompletion on you because it feels very cozy. But you will be made to get up and go to Akada. So you will be made to throw away your incompletion, made to do the work of an enlightened being. Understand? How much ever cozy you may feel with your incompletion blanket. Actually, we can embroider incompletion blanket. How much ever cozy you may feel with your incompletion blanket, you are not touched by incompletions. Upanishads very clearly say, you are untouched by delusion and incompletion. Untouched by delusion and incompletion. When Upanishads declare this about you, this is you. No one else has a right to tell you anything about you. When Upanishads declare you don't have incompletions, understand, including your Guru, no one has a right to violate the declarations of Upanishads. Even I can show your incompletions only to help you to get out of your delusion. Incompletions can never become permanent in you. No. You are untouched by incompletions. That's the truth. That's the right introduction to you about you. I can forcibly show you your incompletions so that you can get out of it and be in the space of being untouched. Sometimes if 4 or 5 blankets are put on you, you will feel suffocated and throw away all the blankets at a time. That can be used as a technique. But you can never be described as incompletion. You are untouched by incompletions. You are untouched by incompletions. Be very clear about it. Pure consciousness is all-pervasive and it's untouched by the delusion of incompletion. Consciousness is the all-knowing seer of all, past, present, future. I really wanted the Vakyartha Sadas to go on, and I really want everyone to participate in this Vakyartha Sadas. Because only when you sit and talk, debate, you will even spend your time on thinking about it. Otherwise, all the time, you are worried about your pickles. Stupid. No, everything you worried is nothing more than a pickle. Whether you are worried about your house, car, all that is only a pickle for life. The rice of the life, food of the life is only enlightenment. But you are so worried about all the stupid pickles, colors and varieties of pickles. You miss the main food of life. So please understand, everyone should spend at least an hour in your life on Vakyartha Sadas, debating, internalizing, discussing about the Upanishadic truths, because only when you sit and discuss, you will think about it. You forgot the process of contemplation. When you are doing your work, you are so busy with your incompletions. I am really telling you, your whole day routine never tires you. It is the incompletions and emotional turmoils you go through whole day that makes you tired and bored. Nobody's routine tires you. I am telling you, as human beings, you are all capable of doing at least 20 times more work than what you are all doing. Even whole day, you are plowing the land, you are 20 times more powerful. Understand? Never a physical routine brings tiredness and boredom. It is the incompletions and emotional turmoil you put yourself throughout the day that brings boredom and that brings tiredness. That brings suffering. So when you do this Vakyartha Sadas, debate, that's the only time you will think about all these higher truths. Otherwise, whole day you put yourself only into the ditch of incompletions and emotionally harming yourself. See, when constantly you harm yourself emotionally, and there is no plan for recovery, that's very dangerous. There should be a plan for recovery. If you hurt yourself whole day, at least 1 hour you should heal yourself. The Vakyartha Sadas is the time you heal yourself, where you put your mind, you apply your thoughts on higher possibilities. So I really sincerely want the Vakyartha Sadas circle should be expanded. More and more circles should be created on Vakyartha Sadas, to do Vakyartha Sadas all over the world. It's just like in the West they have book reading circles, book reading groups. We should have Vakyartha Sadas groups, Vakyartha Sadas circles. We should establish at least 10,000 Vakyartha Sadas groups all over the world to do Vakyartha Sadas on Upanishads. Because all these definitions, how much ever I speak, you won't internalize. Only if you speak on it, you will think about it and you will internalize it. You will go to the depths of all these thoughts, thought currents. See, Upanishads are such, you have to digest it to feel powerful. It should become part of you to feel powerful. It's pure consciousness. From the time eternal means it exists before even time started. Time is much lower plane. Time and space are much lower planes before even time started. It exists. Actually, if you understand about consciousness, more and more you understand, more and more you will feel settled, secured, beautiful. You will feel more and more beautiful about you. You will just be in love with you. All the restlessness, external, internal, will just get quenched. It will just get settled. Vakyartha Sadas on consciousness, thinking about consciousness can bring so much of peace and joy. So much of peace and bliss. Just like how you remember your moments with Guru, how you are filled with joy and excitement, same way, meditating on consciousness can fill you with that same depth of joy and excitement. Do Vakyartha Sadas on the Ishavasya Upanishad's definition of you, description of you, description of consciousness. I bless you all. Let you all radiate with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, causing, living Advaita, the eternal bliss, Nithyananda. Thank you. Be blissful.
Nithyananda Dhyanapitham, Nithyananda Nagar, off Mysore Road, Bidadi, Bengaluru. Phone 08027279999. www.nithyananda.org. www.youtube.com/lifeblissfoundation.